Picture this. You're a green card holder returning home to the United States after visiting family abroad. You approach the customs checkpoint at the airport, feeling confident because you've done this dozens of times before. But this time, something is different. The officer asks you to step aside for additional screening. Your photo is taken, your fingerprints are scanned. Questions come one after another about where you've been, how long you stayed, and why you traveled. What used to take 5 minutes now takes 2 hours. You're confused, frustrated, and worried. What changed? The answer is February 2026. And if you're a green card holder who travels internationally, the new rules that just took effect could completely change your experience at the border. Starting right now, every single time you enter or leave the United States, you will be photographed, your biometric data will be collected, and your travel patterns will be tracked more closely than ever before. Some green card holders are facing extended questioning, secondary inspections, and in rare cases, even challenges to their permanent resident status. This isn't fear-mongering. This isn't speculation. This is happening right now, and the next few minutes could save you hours of stress, confusion, and potential problems the next time you travel. Welcome to Seniors Support Hub, your trusted source for the latest immigration news, policy changes, and practical guidance that directly affects your life in America. I'm here to cut through the confusion and give you exactly what you need to know about the major travel rule changes for green card holders that took effect in February 2026. These changes come from multiple sources. The Department of Homeland Security Biometric Entry-Exit System that officially launched December 26, 2025. The expanded travel ban affecting 39 countries that began January 1, 2026, and new screening protocols being rolled out at airports and land crossings nationwide. The information you're about to hear is based entirely on verified government sources, official DHS announcements, CBP policy updates, and reports from immigration attorneys who are seeing these changes firsthand at the border. Before we dive into the specifics, please take 1 second to subscribe to Senior Support Hub and hit that notification bell. Immigration rules are changing faster than ever, and staying informed isn't just helpful. It could be the difference between smooth travel and serious complications. Let's get right into what's actually happening and what you need to do to protect yourself. The first major change that every green card holder needs to understand is the mandatory biometric entry-exit system. As of December 26, 2025, U.S. Customs and Border Protection now requires every non-U.S. citizen, including all green card holders, to have their photograph taken at every single entry and exit point when crossing U.S. borders. This applies at commercial airports, land crossings with Canada and Mexico, and seaports. It doesn't matter if you're traveling for business or pleasure. If you're gone for 2 days or 2 months, if you're crossing at a major international airport or a small land border checkpoint, every time you enter the United States, you will be photographed. Every time you leave the United States, you will be photographed. This is not optional, and refusing to comply can result in denial of entry or boarding. The system works through facial recognition technology. When you arrive at a checkpoint, CBP officers will use cameras to capture your live photograph and immediately compare it against existing images in DHS databases, including your green card photo, passport photo, and any previous entry-exit records. The goal, according to Customs and Border Protection, is to verify your identity, detect fraudulent documents, track visa overstays, and strengthen national security. The system is designed to create a comprehensive digital record of exactly when you entered and exited the country, replacing the old paper-based system that had significant gaps. For green card holders specifically, this creates a new level of accountability because your travel patterns are now being tracked and analyzed in ways they never were before. Here's what makes this particularly significant. In the past, when you left the United States, there was often no official record of your departure. Airlines would collect some information, but there was no systematic government tracking. Now, every departure is photographed and recorded. This means that if you spend extended time outside the United States, if you travel frequently, or if your travel pattern suggests you might not be maintaining permanent residence in America, that information is being captured automatically. Immigration law requires green card holders to maintain their primary residence in the United States. If you spend too much time abroad, you risk being seen as having abandoned your permanent resident status. The new biometric system makes it much easier for CBP to identify potentially problematic travel patterns and flag individuals for additional questioning. The third major development is the expanded travel ban and how it affects green card holders from certain countries. On January 1st, 2026, an expanded presidential proclamation took effect that now restricts entry from nationals of 39 countries. This is more than double the previous 19-country ban that was in place. The countries subject to full entry bans, meaning all immigrant and non-immigrant visas are suspended, include Afghanistan, Burma, Burkina Faso, Chad, Republic of the Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Laos, Libya, Mali, Niger, Sierra Leone, Somalia, South Sudan, Syria, and Yemen. An additional 20 countries face partial restrictions. Now, here's the critical point for green card holders. The travel ban itself does not apply to you if you already hold a valid green card. Your status as a lawful permanent resident is not being revoked simply because of your nationality. You still have the legal right to return to the United States. However, and this is extremely important, green card holders from these flagged countries are now facing significantly heightened scrutiny at the border. This means when you return from international travel, you should expect more detailed questioning from CBP officers, longer processing times, possible referral to secondary inspection where you may wait for hours, requests for extensive documentation about your ties to the United States, and closer review of your travel history and residency patterns. Additionally, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services has announced that green cards previously issued to nationals of the 19 countries under the original ban are being subjected to intensive reviews. This means even if you received your green card years ago and have been living peacefully in the United States, your status could be reviewed again. While this doesn't automatically mean your green card will be revoked, it does mean you need to be prepared to demonstrate that you are in full compliance with all permanent residency requirements. Now let's talk about what all of this means for you practically. If you are a green card holder and you travel internationally, here's what you need to do to protect yourself. First, before you travel, make absolutely certain that your green card is valid and not expired. An expired green card can cause major problems at the border, even if your permanent resident status is still valid. Check the expiration date on your card, and if it's expiring soon, file for a replacement before you leave the country. Second, keep your absences from the United States as short as possible. The general rule has always been that if you're outside the U.S. for more than 6 months, you may face questions about whether you've abandoned your residency. Under the new system with comprehensive exit tracking, extended absences are more visible than ever. If you know you'll need to be abroad for an extended period, consider applying for a re-entry permit before you leave. A re-entry permit allows you to stay outside the U.S. for up to 2 years without being presumed to have abandoned your status. Third, maintain strong ties to the United States and be prepared to prove them. This means keeping a permanent address in the U.S. where you actually live, maintaining U.S. bank accounts, filing U.S. tax returns every year even if you have income abroad, keeping a U.S. driver's license or state ID, maintaining employment in the United States, and having immediate family members in the U.S. When you return from international travel, especially if you've been gone for several weeks or months, you should carry documentation proving these ties. Bring copies of your most recent U.S. tax return, utility bills, or lease agreement showing your U.S. address, employment letter, or pay stubs, bank statements from U.S. accounts, and any other evidence that demonstrates the United States is your primary home. Fourth, if you're from one of the 39 countries affected by the travel ban, be extra prepared for questioning and potential delays. Expect secondary inspection. Expect detailed questions about where you traveled, why you traveled, how long you stayed, what you did while abroad, and when you plan to return to the U.S. Answer all questions honestly and calmly. Do not provide false information or try to hide travel. The biometric system has created comprehensive records, and inconsistencies will only make things worse. If you have family emergencies or legitimate reasons for extended travel, bring documentation. Medical records, death certificates, legal documents, anything that explains and supports why you were abroad can be helpful if questioned. Sixth, monitor your travel carefully and keep your own records. With the new biometric exit system, the government is creating comprehensive records of your travel. You should do the same. Keep copies of all boarding passes, travel itineraries, hotel receipts, and entry/exit stamps. If there's ever a discrepancy or question about your travel history, having your own documentation can help clarify things. Additionally, if you're planning to apply for naturalization in the future, you'll need to provide a complete travel history for the past 5 years. Having good records makes that process much easier. Seventh, understand the timeline for full implementation. The biometric entry-exit system officially launched December 26, 2025, but it's being rolled out in phases. Major international airports are the priority, and most are already equipped with the facial recognition technology. Land border crossings and smaller ports of entry are being added gradually over the next 3 to 5 years. This means if you travel through major hubs like New York, JFK, Los Angeles, LAX, Miami, Chicago, O'Hare, or Houston, you'll definitely experience the full biometric process. If you cross at smaller locations, it may take longer to be fully implemented. However, don't assume you won't be photographed just because you're at a smaller crossing. The system is expanding rapidly. Eighth, if you're a frequent traveler, consider enrolling in Global Entry or TSA PreCheck if you're eligible. While these programs don't exempt you from the biometric requirements or guarantee you won't be questioned, they can sometimes expedite processing and demonstrate that you've undergone vetting and background checks. However, be aware that even Global Entry members are being photographed and tracked under the new system, and membership doesn't protect you from secondary inspection if your travel patterns raise concerns. Now let's address some common questions and concerns. Many green card holders are asking, does this mean I can't travel anymore? Absolutely not. You can still travel internationally. Your right to return to the United States as a lawful permanent resident hasn't changed. What has changed is that your travel is now being monitored more closely, and if your patterns suggest you're not maintaining permanent residence in the U.S., you may face questions or challenges. The key is to travel responsibly, keep trips reasonably short when possible, and maintain clear evidence that the United States is your primary home. Another common question is, what happens if I refuse to be photographed? The answer is simple. You won't be allowed to enter or exit. The biometric screening is mandatory for all non-U.S. citizens. Refusing to comply can result in denial of entry to the United States, which would be catastrophic for a green card holder, or denial of boarding if you're trying to leave. There is no opt-out. The only people exempt from the biometric requirements are U.S. citizens. People also ask, will this make travel slower? Initially, yes. Anytime a new system is implemented at busy checkpoints, there are delays while officers and travelers adjust to new procedures. Wait times at customs have already increased at some airports as officers process the biometric data and secondary inspections become more common. However, Over time, as the system becomes more automated and efficient, CBP expects processing to actually speed up because facial recognition can verify identity faster than manual document checks. But in these early months of implementation, you should definitely allow extra time when traveling, especially during peak periods. Another critical question is, can my green card be taken away because of this? Your green card cannot be revoked simply because of the new biometric system. However, the comprehensive travel tracking makes it much easier for CBP to identify if you've been spending too much time outside the United States, which could lead to a determination that you've abandoned your permanent resident status. Abandonment has always been a risk for green card holders who spend extended time abroad. The new system just makes that risk more visible and easier to enforce. If you're maintaining genuine residence in the US and traveling occasionally, you should be fine. If you're living primarily abroad and just visiting the US occasionally, you could face serious problems. People from the travel ban countries are understandably asking, am I going to lose my green card because of my nationality? The travel ban itself does not revoke existing green cards. However, the intensive reviews that USCIS is conducting on green cards issued to nationals from flagged countries could potentially result in revocation if they determine the green card was obtained fraudulently or if you're not maintaining your residency requirements. If you're from one of these countries, it's especially important to maintain impeccable records of your US ties and comply fully with all residency requirements. Consider consulting with an immigration attorney to review your situation and ensure you're protected. Finally, many people are asking, what about my family? If you have family members who are also green card holders, the same rules apply to them. Spouses, children, elderly parents, everyone gets photographed. Everyone gets tracked. If you're traveling as a family, allow extra time because each person needs to go through the biometric process individually. Young children may be intimidated by the cameras and the process, so it can help to explain what will happen in advance so they're not scared. Let me give you some real-world scenarios to help you understand how this is playing out. Scenario 1, you're a green card holder who takes a 3W-week vacation to Europe once a year. You work full-time in the United States, you own a home here, you pay your taxes, and you have strong ties. When you return from your vacation, you'll be photographed at the airport. Your passport will be checked, and assuming your total time outside the US over the past few years is reasonable, you should pass through without major issues. You might face a few questions about your trip, but overall, your travel pattern is consistent with permanent residence. Scenario 2. You're a green card holder who spends 5 months abroad each year visiting family. You return to the US for 7 months, then leave again for another extended period. When you return, you're sent to secondary inspection. Officers question you extensively about where you live, where you work, whether you filed US taxes, and why you spend so much time abroad. You're asked to provide documentation proving your US residence. If you can't provide convincing evidence that the US is truly your primary home, you could be told that your actions show abandonment of permanent residence. This is a high-risk scenario under the new system. Scenario 3, you're a green card holder from one of the 19 countries under the full travel ban. You traveled abroad for 2 weeks to attend a family wedding. When you return, you're automatically flagged because of your nationality. You're sent to secondary inspection, questioned for hours, asked about your travel, your ties to the US, and your background. Even though you did nothing wrong and your trip was short, the enhanced scrutiny means longer processing and more stress. Eventually, you're admitted, but the experience is much more difficult than it used to be. Here's what you need to understand clearly. These rule changes are permanent. They're not temporary security measures. The biometric entry-exit system is being built out over several years as a comprehensive infrastructure project. This is the new normal for international travel as a green card holder. The sooner you accept that and adjust your behavior accordingly, the smoother your experience will be. Think of it this way. In the past, there was a lot of flexibility and informality in how green card holders' travel was monitored. That era is over. The system is now digital, comprehensive, and automated. Your travel is being tracked, recorded, and analyzed. This doesn't mean you can't travel, but it means you need to be much more intentional about how you travel and how you maintain your U.S. ties. One more thing that's really important: social media and online presence are now being scrutinized more than ever. As part of the expanded vetting procedures, visa applicants are being required to provide social media account information from the past 5 years. While this currently applies primarily to visa applicants, immigration officials are also looking at social media during secondary inspections and status reviews. If your social media posts suggest you're living permanently abroad, if you're posting about your life in another country as if that's your primary home, that can be used as evidence against you. Be mindful of what you post publicly. Don't give immigration officials ammunition to question your permanent residence. Let me also address the elephant in the room. A lot of people are scared right now. They're scared of traveling, scared of being questioned, scared of losing their status. That fear is understandable, but panic is not helpful. If you're maintaining genuine residence in the United States, if you're traveling occasionally and reasonably, if you can document your ties to this country, you're going to be okay. The vast majority of green card holders are not facing problems under these new rules. The people at highest risk are those who are spending the majority of their time outside the U.S., those from the travel ban countries who don't have strong documentation, and those who haven't been maintaining proper records. If you fall into one of those categories, get legal help. Now, if you don't, stay informed, travel responsibly, and keep good records. Before I wrap up, here's your action checklist. Number 1, check your green card expiration date and renew if necessary. Number 2, review your travel over the past 3 years and calculate how much time you've spent outside the U.S. versus inside. Number 3, gather documentation of your U.S. ties, including tax returns, lease or mortgage, employment records, bank statements, and keep copies accessible when you travel. Number 4, if you plan extended travel, research whether a re-entry permit makes sense for your situation. Number 5, if you're from a travel ban country, consider consulting an immigration attorney to review your status and prepare for potential scrutiny. Number 6, keep your own detailed records of all international travel, including dates, destinations, and purposes. Number 7, if you're eligible for citizenship, seriously consider applying now. Number 8, monitor official sources, including the DHS website, CBP updates, and USCIS announcements for ongoing changes to these policies. If this video helped you understand what's happening and what you need to do, please hit that like button and share this with other green card holders who need this information. So many people are completely unaware of these changes and are going to be shocked the next time they travel. You can help them avoid that stress by sharing this video. Subscribe to Senior Support Hub right now and turn on all notifications so you don't miss future updates as these policies continue to evolve. Immigration law is changing faster than ever, and staying informed is absolutely critical to protecting your status and your future. Drop a comment below and let me know your situation. Are you a green card holder who travels frequently? Are you from one of the travel ban countries? Have you already experienced the new biometric screening? Share your experiences and questions, and I'll do my best to address them in future videos or in the comments. Your real-world stories help other people understand what to expect. Remember, knowledge is power in immigration. The more you know, the better you can prepare and the smoother your experience will be. These new rules are here to stay. but they don't have to derail your life if you approach them strategically. This is Senior Support Hub, bringing you the immigration news and guidance you need to navigate the ever-changing landscape of U.S. immigration law. Until the next update, travel smart, document everything, and stay informed. Your green card is valuable. Protect it by knowing the rules and following them carefully. Take care, and I'll see you in the next.